Okay, so continuing with my intellectual hunting license, through my good friend Kelly Kimball here, I got to meet Derek Ali. So if you ask my wife and daughter, I get obsessed with songs, and I just like listen to the same playlist and the same songs over and over and over again. And one of my favorite artists is Pulitzer Prize-winning artist Kendrick Lamar. And his first album, Good Kid, Mad City, is just incredible. And I think I've got everything memorized, and I just keep subjecting my wife and my daughter to that playlist over and over again. And then Kelly introduces me to Ali, and he says, "Oh, he's the recording engineer in that song." And I was like, "What?" And so we went to LA, spent some time with Ali. We were writing a case about his company called EngineEars, but then we had some fun with music as well. So Ali, why don't you come on down and walk us through.
Good to see you. How's it going, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow technology aficionados, welcome. How's everyone doing this afternoon? I love the energy. Today we embark on a fascinating milestone with the evolution of music creation, leading with AI. You know, since the humble beginnings of Edouard Leon Scott de Martinville and his invention of the phonogram in the 1860s, creating the first recorded rendition of Au Clair de la Lune, we've witnessed the evolution of music from the birth of jazz in the smoky bars of New Orleans in the 1920s, the electrifying rise of rock and roll in Memphis during the 1950s, and the invention of hip-hop emerging from the poverty-stricken Bronx streets in the 1970s. The makeup of music has always been consisted of human experiences and emotional feelings projected through a combination of live instruments and vocal performances. Now, together we've marveled at the ingenuity of innovators who've transformed the music industry, witnessing firsthand the digital revolution that brought music to the hearts of billions around the globe. But our exploration doesn't end in the past. It extends into the present and beyond, where emerging technology continues to shape the landscape of musical expression. Now, with the rise of AI-generated compositions, we stand at the precipice of endless possibilities where the boundaries of creativity are only limited by one's imagination. But this also introduces a borderless playing field that threatens the human imperfections that make up the music that society has loved and connected with for over 160 years. So let us embark on this voyage together as we discuss and study the pros and cons between both human collaboration and human AI enablement to truly understand the future of music creation. Let's play the video. Welcome to No Name Studios.
No Name Studios. Yeah. What's the history of this place?
Man, the history goes back from '79, so everything from from '93 to '98, all the death row records. Before that, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones. The list goes on.
So, what's your vision for this now, given this historic legacy?
Yeah, I mean, I want to continue the legacy first and foremost, but it's just I want to update. I want to create a premier recording facility in the Valley as it once was in the '80s.
I'm so thrilled to be here today to look at the creation process of songs and to compare and contrast how a traditional process works along with the newly emerging AI processes.
This is session number 1, trust me. You're going to be a pro by the time we're done with you, all right? So the first things first, coming up with the rap name.
Yeah, so I'm putting a prompt into ChatGPT because that's my auxiliary brain.
Right.
Quantum beats.
Quantum beats.
All right.
Yeah.
Quantum
in the flesh, let's get to it.
Who creates all these drums and samples?
So I think on Splice in particular, from my understanding, I'm not all the way 100, but they have basically their users submitting them as users, as peer-to-peer, and they source them as well.
Okay.
And they created the library to where basically we can, so let's just say we're gonna play these drums, right? It took us about 5 minutes to do so. So now, as we're getting that situated, we're gonna download that beat, we're gonna download the stems.
Yeah. And what are stems?
Stems are the individual breakdowns, so like the bass by itself, the percussion by itself, etc. And then when we throw everything into the Pro Tools, we'll have full control to be able to create the arrangement.
Mood, angry, dark, cynical, confident, cheerful. This thing is amazing. This tool is called Jarvis?
Jarvis.
Jarvis, okay, I gotta get myself a subscription.
Nervous.
Let's go.
Topic would be
Innovating new theories. Now let's see. Confident, determined, energetic.
All right, now we're going here, where you're text to voice.
Oh my God.
Text to voice, right?
So this is called UberDuck?
UberDuck. So I found this. I just Googled this, so text to voice. So now we got all the stems in there. Now let's go and arrange it, right?
Okay.
In sequence. Like I said, you get the keys in there that we can use as different melodies.
Yeah. But 2 hours still, like so. I put nothing in. We had no idea.
Nothing, yeah.
We just sat down together.
Combing through sounds.
Yeah.
Found the sounds. I think it took longer to subscribe to the platform.
Yeah.
To get
With my mind and my rhymes, I'll be the one to pursue a new era, a new age. Let go of your old ways. I'm breaking boundaries while you're stuck in your haze. Innovating theories, I'm coming with something new.
So, as you watch,
theories, I'm coming with something new.
so Karim and I spent some time in Los Angeles, getting to know each other, spending time making hits. You know, from now on, please refer to Karim as Quantum Beats when you see him around campus. But through the experience, you know, I want to actually kind of just give you all a quick demo, right? I'm using a different platform now with how technology is evolving, right? Things are, you know, coming up faster and faster and faster. And, you know, now we have the ability to literally just type in a prompt, right, into this platform, and it's going to generate the whole song for you in under 60 seconds, right? I have a list of prompts here that I was working on backstage with some of our, you know, guests that we have here. I have one here. I want to create a 90s hip hop song about Mary Edros, the CEO of JP Morgan Assets and Wealth Management, generating massive returns for her clients. So literally, you could just come in here, as you can see. You can copy. I'm gonna just copy and paste the prompt here, right, and create, right. So as this is generating, where is it happening at? Come on now. All right. Oh no. There it is. So how that's generating. But honestly, when I was going and doing the test backstage, you know, I would play the newly generated records, but there was one that I fell in love with and I could not start it over. And funny enough, the title of the song is called Queen of Green. Marietta, the CEO of JP Morgan's Wealth Management, the Queen of Green. I think that is, you know, and I think it's fitting for the outfit you wore last night as well, right? Do you mind if I play this? It's certainly PG. But literally, you know, this came from this simple prompt, right? A 90s hip hop song about Mary Edros, CEO of JP Morgan Assets and Wealth Management, generating massive returns for clients. And this was the outcome. Oh no, let me change my audio, 2 seconds, apologies. Sound, boom. Okay, we should be good.
Moves on Wall Street, insights her game, her those in command, making her own fame. With a golden touch like Midas in his prime. Gotta have the skill, can't rely on just time. She's the queen of green, clients' gains keep rising. With a strategy so smart, it's not surprising. Yeah, she's at the top, stacking wealth, no contest. In the market jungle, she's the one they can't best. She trades assets, just to boost the returns. Got a sharp mind, and she's making big earns.
The Queen of Green, everybody, the Queen of Green. Clap it up. I have a few more here. What do we have? We have, let's see. You said who? So, okay, we have an R&B song about Sadat Neely being a Harvard Business School professor. Is that okay with you? Do you mind? Again, completely PG. You know, I know we're live. So let me just create this. So that's being generated now. I have a few other ones that I made while this is generating. It's going to take about 60 minutes for it to fully generate. But while that's doing that, I want to play a prompt that I had earlier, a classical song about the Dean of Harvard Business School, Mr. Shrikant Dakar. So if you mind, can I play that? Please, is that okay, everyone? Okay, it's called, the title is called A Hall of Wisdom, and here we go.
In the halls of revered mighty tutors, a leader in thought he strives, heart calls, he shapes the futures where excellence and wisdom resides, where excellence and wisdom reside. In his office the plans are forming.
There it is.
To the L.
My playlist is going crazy right now, I'm sorry. Okay, we still have a few more seconds until this is generated. As you can see from the prompt, an R&B song about Sadal Neely being a Harvard Business School professor, 2 songs are generated, right? One, Mind Heights, and the second one, Wisdom in Verses. While those generate, I want to play another one. I have a jazz hip-hop song about Karim Lakhani and his book, Competing in the Age of AI, right? So here we go.
I'm studying hard, what's your IQ, huh? HBS, where the minds brew, in the labs, AI in full view, books and codes, we craft the future's cue,
And here's another one.
K to the L, he's breaking the code, dropping the knowledge like seeds to sow. AI era, watch it unfold. His book's the blueprint, the future's foretold. Competing with bots, it's a brave new world. Algorithm shifting, the industry twirls.
Pretty cool, right? All of these generated from prompts. Now we have the 2 that were generated. It took a little longer than expected, and I'm gonna play it too. This is the first time I'm hearing these as well, and let's check them out.
In my mind all day, got that knowledge vibe. Just trying to go, not just trying to survive.
It's still, you know, let's see what else we got.
Cashmere thoughts in her bright mind, so bright, and we're learning through her wisdom. They arrive, classroom where ambition thrives, scholars unite, and then maybe we'll be climbing ladders in the books she writes. Insights.
Now, obviously, the mixes aren't all the way just there yet, right? It's still early days, but super interesting, right? Can you all agree? Now, before we get into a video which we're going to show you how, how humans create, right? A great friend of mine, Abbas, signed to Dreamville, J. Cole's label, multi-platinum recording artist, Grammy Nominated. It's going to show us a video of us creating a song live from scratch. After this one, if you can give me a few more seconds for this to generate. What else do we have here that I could play you guys? The Queen of Green, I think that took the cake. I hope that's a theme song every time you walk into the office from here on out. We need to hire somebody just to walk around with the boombox and just play it every okay, give this just one more second. So I did another prompt, a hip hop song about Harvard Business School leading with AI. And as you can see here, 2 songs are being generated as I speak, AI Moguls and Ivy Tech Dreams. So please give that a second to generate. And yeah, we need the Jeopardy music going on now. But as you can see, like the technology is emerging. It's so incredible, right? Obviously we're going to show you the amount of time that it takes for us as humans in the studio to create a song, right? The human impact, the human emotion that is put into a song, right? That is kind of the con, right, to generating a song this way, right? Because you don't have that. How would I say? You wouldn't have that kind of control, right, over over the songs. But here we go.
I'm in the class. Where AI's changing future's code. Yeah, we level up. Exchange stocks like it's a code. Trading non-stop.
You could barely hear it.
Flash forward to elite class dreams. Harvard, can we dive into codes? In halls,
where the future's engaged. Every mind hears brilliantly, brilliance, systematic and keen. This is what we breathe, just the minds in techie hustle, innovating on the flow, with AI and machines, Harvard's scene.
So it's super interesting, right? Being able to generate songs with any genre, right? Any topic, any voice. As we all can see, the opportunity is limitless. Super interesting times, as we, move into the future. So now, as we completed that, I would love to show you guys another video showing me and my brother Boz creating a record from scratch and playing the end result. And then we'd love to get into a Q&A with Professor Karim Lakhani. Enjoy.
About the chord, but like, I don't need any instruments. Right, yeah. I brought my keyboard, I didn't even pull the keyboard out. Like literally everything is on the computer now.
Hey guys, my name's Leandro. Most people call me Dro. I'm a producer, also a mixing engineer.
What's up, y'all? My name is Boz. I'm a recording artist from Queens, New York, by way of Khartoum, Sudan.
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie, I've used ChatGPT for like writing, and the best way you get out of it is I have these 2 lines, and I need these next 2 lines. Yeah. If you tell it to just do something from scratch, it never really works.
Hard. I never
if you
thought
tell
of
it
that.
like, I have these 2 lines, and I'm trying to say this, and the second is that, it'll fill in the blank.
Really get in detail with the prompt.
Bro,
it'll follow the
rhyme
rhyme pattern, right? I think what I found when I be messing around with AI though is like a lot of times like a song like that is like about a very kind of like specific human experience, and it's hard to get it to like convey that in a way that's like, that you connect with. Yeah. I'm sure it'll get there like in time. So like whatever, yes, it might be detrimental to some aspects of music, but it's like allowing me to go into worlds I never even had the time to go into, because I can just be like, yo, what's up? You're an extension of my brain now. Basically, like I know what you know. It really is gonna just make us super efficient in all aspects of life.
And the big question is like, how do we make it like enhance our creativity instead of atrophy our creativity?
Yeah, like my prompts are elite.
Yeah.
My prompts are elite. I'm a prompt killer, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the art in it. Yes. You still gotta get creative. Yeah.
It's definitely one way to create. Yeah. But obviously nothing trumps, what I'm saying? Just the energy, the creativity that just flows in the air when you're creating with actual individuals. Yeah. Collaboration, right? That's the human element, the feeling.
That's great.
We just won gold at the AI Olympics, man. You know what I mean? Representing humanity out here. We still got a few years left, you heard?
You still got a few more years left.
I pray never let me go.
What a fun time.
That's incredible, boss.
Quantum Beats.
What's up, brother? Quantum Beats in the building. How y'all doing?
Make some noise for Boz.
Come on, bro. Where you at with it?
So, gosh, this brings back great memories of us spending time together. It was awesome. So, what is this? Well, first, I should just give you the bona fides, right? So, Ali is a 4-time Grammy Award-winning recording engineer. So the last Grammy was this past few months ago. Yeah. Killer Mike album. Ali was a recording engineer for that.
Mixing engineer, yeah.
Mixing engineer. And Boss, when I told my daughter that I was hanging out with Boss, she's like, what? So I got all the street cred now I need with my daughter. Yeah, thanks. Multi-platinum award-winning singer, and beautiful sound, beautiful voice. So how do you make sense of this moment now? You guys have been in music, you've followed and you've become an artist yourself. You've been, since a teenager, hanging around recording studios and then becoming this incredible engineer. How do you make sense of this current moment and what we just did, the Queen of Green? Like, how do you make sense of it now? Like, what's going on?
You're stuck with that name now.
I know,
yeah. I think it's just evolution, right, in general, right? For years, as we kind of went through briefly, just the history from, the 1860s, right? It's going to continue to evolve, right? And I think, with this technology, right, in some aspects, it's fearful, right? But in others, when harnessing that technology and adopting it and, really championing it, right, it's going to aid in efficiencies like never before, right? Being able to, eliminate the busy work, the amount of hours that we spend in the studio, doing different revisions and different versions of the song, the clean version, the a cappella, or going through a session and cleaning up the dead air that humans literally spend hours going through and clicking and cutting and, making these tracks sound the way they sound. It's just gonna eliminate all that time, right? Which is gonna allow me to do more work, right? Which is allowing me to, grow my business, right? Allowing me to generate more revenue for myself and my family. I still believe it is in early times, but, having these conversations, which I'm grateful that you're having, it's allowing us to be at the forefront, to, be the creatives and have that voice as things evolve.
Yeah.
I think to add to that,
yeah.
I think tech has always made music creation more accessible. You can spend $2,000 on a 12-hour studio session, or, you can probably spend the same amount of money on a laptop and a cheap interface and record in your crib,
Yeah.
So I feel like AI is only gonna help. As far as like, for me, I'm a songwriter. I never took the time to learn production, but I hear melodies all day, or, I hear songs that I'm inspired by, and I'll go sit with my producer, and I'm like, let's make something in the vein of this, and now it's like, well, that's just a prompt, essentially, I could ask the AI to say, all right, I like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Scar Tissue, but, give me some trap drums on it, and it'll probably get really close to it, and it's gonna continue to get closer to it. So I think, tech has just always given us the ability to create, and that's only gonna grow from here.
Yes, are you gonna share your elite prompt book, code book?
I got you. I gotta say, I took it very personal when they came in and had me go against the AI. I took it very personal.
You did great. There's still hope for humans. So boss, in your craft as a songwriter, as a singer, where do you see this helping you, and where do you see this hurting you?
I think it'll help me more on the production side and trying to get certain sounds out of my head that I don't have the technical proficiency to do.
Okay. So you're saying, show me some let me hear some trap drums.
I could hum a melody to it,
yeah,
and say, play this as a lead guitar,
yeah,
or I can say, give me a, hi-hats, that's all math anyway, so it's like, give me a hi-hats on the 16th note and just watch it go crazy and give you different options. What I did notice though is, at the core of writing music, you're trying to evoke an emotion out of your audience, whether it's joy, heartbreak, whatever the case may be. And when I try to give it those prompts, it's a little tough to get that across. Even the song we did, I was like, all right, Dro played the beat. It was like an Afro beats record, a dance record. Had a little like sexy vibe. So instantly in my head, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of like, meeting a girl at the club and you're trying to break the ice and maybe get that first dance with her. And I'm like, man, the AI never been to the club. So it's a little hard for him to get that.
Yeah. Are we releasing those songs?
We got to. We got to make an AI video to it. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. And you just did those lyrics on the spot, like you were your own GPT almost.
Right.
Yeah, based on your experience. How about you, Ali? Like in terms of, you work with elite artists and you're in heavy demand. What are you hearing from them about what they see with these tools and the impact on creativity?
I think more than anything, it's the IP, right? It's understanding, how can they, as artists, benefit from, music that is created from models that might have been trained off of their music, right? It's not understanding where their future is when already the industry is in shambles when it comes to paying creators, right? So is this another nail in the coffin, right? Or what is it, right? So from what I'm hearing, and like always, right, things that people don't understand, they put the devil on it, right? They want to always, put things to the side that they can't understand. So I think, again, having these conversations is gonna, kind of break that ice and give more clarity on how they can get involved and use these tools in the positive, right? But the conversations at the moment is, like any change, right? There's always gonna be pushback before it's adopted, right? So I think we're getting a little bit past the pushback and more into the adoption phase with these new platforms that, I just demoed, but it's just gonna take time. It's just going to take time.
But who's going to do the adoption,
Yeah.
right? Because what's interesting is, if you look at the genres of music, when hip hop comes out, all the soul and R&B people were like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
They're stealing my stuff. They're remixing
Right.
my music. And so a new generation of artists basically showed up and pushed the music forward. So as you now sort of survey the landscape, you as an artist, you as an engineer, working with lots of artists, who is doing the adoption? And is it going to be the new kids that come in and sort of figure this out, or will the existing ones? Of course, some artists, Madonna always reinvents herself every few years, are very good at adaptation, but most artists get stuck in the genre or their vintage and don't evolve. So what's your sense?
I think that alone, right, that you mentioned, that they're kind of stuck in their ways and don't evolve, I think this is going to allow them to do so with the minimal work, right? It is allow them to evolve in ways that even they didn't think they could. Right, but to the question on who's going to really be adopting this, I think all creators, from producers, engineers, and artists. For instance, a producer, right, historically have been hit with sample clearance issues, right, with songs taking off of DSPs because, an artist from the 60s that producer sampled, right, is now saying, hey, I didn't clear this song. So now imagine generating a beat like we just did there and then sampling that in the vein of an old school 60s record without having to go through clearances. Right, so that's for producers. For artists, imagine Boz able to clone that godly voice that we've seen, where in times he's on the road, or times where he's vocals is stripped, or whatever the case may be, and he wants to lay a sample down. How would my voice sound over this sequence of drums? Let me just type that in and try that. Where artists can now have their own GPTs, for themselves, right? And then for engineers, look at it as, like I said, co-pilots, right? Being able to eliminate the busy work that again we spend countless hours doing. We pay assistants, out of our fees, to be able to do the busy work for us because it is so time consuming. So it's enabling us to save money, enabling us to do more, making more money, right? And, and having a good time doing it.
How about you, boss?
I've actually put that to use. I've written like choruses for female vocalists, and I'll be like, man, like, I wonder how Rihanna would sound singing this, And then I'll just put that in, I have the engineer run it, and it'll come out, even though I recorded the reference, it'll come out in Rihanna's voice. And you're like, man, I wish I could get to Rihanna, but it would sound awesome, So I think it's cool. It just lets you, it just expands the parameters of what you can create, But going back to your point about even sampling artists from the 70s and the 60s and the 80s, like we do that and we pay, and we give them publishing. Some of the songs I've sampled, I might own 30% of it. And, whoever the original guy that was playing on it gets the publishing. And that's cool. I think that's fair. What worries me about where we're at with AI is you don't even know what it's studying or who it's being influenced by or who it's copying. And I don't think as artists we really have the protection in place right now.
So what kind of protection do you think you need?
First, we need protection from the labels.
That's always been the problem, right?
Yeah. It's pretty predatory, our industry, So I'm sure they're probably training AIs on all our voices and, calling it a licensing or whatever the case may be and carving us out. But that's kind of part of course for the music industry.
Yeah. How about you? What do you sense as a fear around the folks that actually own the copyrights or the other rights around the music?
I think the only fear for us as engineers is just being eliminated in general, right? If quality is being diminished in the sense of, there needs no more human ears to listen and adjust the frequencies of a snare or adjust the frequency of a kick and drum and having those blends sound the way Dr. Dre did it on Chronic back in, the early 2000s. If that's going to be a process that can eliminate, our job, right, that is the natural fear, right? Again, because of the human imperfections that are involved with creating these timeless records, I think it's just going to split it up into two categories, right? The songs that are being created for the novice, right? The people entering the field to try to get some inspiration out, and ones that are using the tools to be enabled to allow them to be more efficient. So I think, if anything, it's just going to separate those two categories of creatives, and the ones that are fully using the AI tools to help make their music, they will transition into now learning through the process of using the AI tools and knowing how to look at music, and then starting their journeys as actual professionals. So
yeah. So one thing I'd love for you guys to think about is the following, which is every sort of era of technology sort of allows more people to be users of that technology. So if you sort of think about, with the internet, everybody became a content creator. When we sort of think about iOS, everybody could become a software developer. Are we now in this world where every single person here, the 1,000 people that are here and the thousands of people that are on our live streams will also become musicians? And so will you have more competition? And
I mean, I've always held the belief that everybody can make music. It just takes time, takes practice, and it takes confidence, Because when you start out, you're probably gonna suck, like all of us did.
Yeah. But the Queen of Green, I mean, that says just like a prompt and like.
Queen of Green is Billboard ready. You might got one there.
So what does that mean, though? So now, if all of us can now get universal distribution through Spotify, right? They'll be more than happy to take. I mean, all those platform cares about are just more and more content. So now, if all of us can now create Queen of Green and Flood, is that just going to devalue artists?
I don't think so. I mean, I think overall society's better when people can express themselves, I think even if you're making music, some people will make it not even for commercial purposes, but at least if you have a Sunday and you had a long work week, and you want to sit down in front of your laptop and just create something and, get your thoughts out. I think that's healthy to have.
Yeah. So Ali, we see, in the world of business, we see sort of these three effects happening inside of companies, right? With generative AI, we see replacement effects. We've talked about that. Customer service jobs go away and bots take over, like what we saw in the demo from Google. We see augmentation, so you get superpowers. You can have the Iron Man suit available to you to do incredible work, and then transformation. New roles, new jobs come about. So what do you see in the music industry? Because you also have this purview as a creator of this platform called EngineEars, and what you're doing there in terms of both the replacement effects, the augmentation effects, and the transformative effects.
So just to give context, I founded a company called EngineEars that provides the business solutions for audio engineers globally, allowing them to manage all aspects of the business from, project management, communication with clients, payments, crediting, et cetera. And from the augmentation aspect, I believe, implementing and giving our users, like I said, these co-pilot tools and just these utilities to allow them to be more efficient is another X factor for us and our users, right? To be able to grow and scale their businesses. So if an engineer comes, out of college, right, a novice who has 0 clients, right, can use our tools to help, grow that, scale their business on our platform and beyond. And I think that's, the best way down how we want to look at it,
Yeah. How about you I remember when we met in LA, you said something that was interesting. You said, like for songwriting, I'm pretty good, but for script writing, you were like going to ChatGPT. And I've talked to script writers, and they go, for script writing, I'm keeping my craft, but for songwriting, I'm going to ChatGPT.
Right, because I didn't have the time to put my 10,000 hours into script writing.
Yeah.
I did that in music, but I have crazy movie trilogy ideas every day, and I'm just like, ChatGPT, these aliens popped up, and then X, Y, Z, and it'll give me a whole trilogy, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I won't, it's almost just, again, it's just an expression. Like I love film, even though I make music, I love film, I love TV. And my imagination likes to run wild in those spaces, but I might not have the time, to give you a whole synopsis. I might just think of one crazy villain and be like, give me his origin story.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT will do it.
Then you can create a song about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So let's talk about like what the music is so intimate. We saw what Ava showed when she just put a few bars, and then the rest of the song of the piano composition got made. What do you see ahead in the next 5 years with these tools? Because they seem to be growing exponentially.
I say every session usually has, a collaborative process, whether it's me and the producer or if there's extra songwriters in the studio. I could see if I don't joke about being the lead at prompts. Like that's kind of the art.
Yes.
When you're trying to use it, like I'm not that good. I was just boasting for the cameras. But I could foresee, some kids that really grow up utilizing it and mastering it.
Like the 2 turntables, right?
Right.
And now
like maybe he's in the studio and I'm writing a song and like any songwriter would help me finish a bar. I could be like, you could be the prompt guy. Like, you're probably better at trying to get this emotion that I'm evoking out of the AI than I am. You know, so I could see it being used in the songwriting process, definitely in the production process. I think it's probably further along in that already, because production is just, you know, it really is all math at the end of the day, like whether it's drum patterns or, you know, melodies, all of those things are, you know, on a grid.
Yeah.
So I think it's already there as far as production goes.
Yeah.
And to kind of feed off that point, you know, it's going to be the youth, right? It's going to be the youth that are thinking about it in ways in which we're not, right? Utilizing these tools and coming up with.
And then we'll hire them.
Exactly. But it's creating.
It's the business school, yes.
It's creating those processes, right, as it's being developed, right? You know, going back in how the DJs in the 70s, right, in New York, how they've taken these records and sampled them and doing all that, and then going into sampling phases, you know, going into digital production. And it's just now going to be an evolution of that. Like I said, there's some kid right now in a basement that's going ham on a GPT that is coming up with a whole new way in which the industry is going to be shaped. So I think more than anything, you know, for the next 5 years, I think the creators like us just need to stay on it, right? Need to understand and be involved with the creation of these platforms and to embrace it. Right? You know, I always say, and this is something I hear you say a lot, it's not going to, you know, there's not going to be no AI song that's going to take over the world, right? It's going to be a creator using AI that's going to take over the world.
Yeah. And so what the real interesting issue is that, for example, right now, copyright law says that anything that's generated by AI is not copyrightable. So Queen of Green, right, is public usage.
Right.
And so as you start to, I mean, on the one hand, you don't have to worry about clearance, but on the other hand, you can't copyright.
Right.
How will you make money?
Well, first off, you know, I'm sure JP Morgan has great attorneys, and I will not be playing that record anywhere.
That's true. They have mad mailbox money.
I do not want those problems. But yeah, I don't know.
How to make? I mean, I think it's just quantity helping with output. You know, I think if you can utilize the tech to, at the end of the day, every song is a product for us. Every song generates revenue streams, whatever the case may be, and like, you know, like
live performances.
Right, exactly. So the more output you can have, especially nowadays, the way music is consumed. You know, every Friday you go on your Spotify, you got 1,000 new albums. So the album I dropped last Friday, it's pretty much old news. You know, artists used to have 3-4 year album cycles. Now it's like if we don't drop every year, we're pretty much irrelevant. You know, so there's a constant feel that you need to put out more music, you need more output, and I think AI is going to help us do that.
Yeah.
And so when is the Boss Bot coming out?
Oh man, I'm working on that.
Okay.
I'm working on that. I'm gonna sell it to Ali.
We need the HBS engineers to come forefront. And,
Yeah.
Start working.
But what do you imagine a Boss Bot doing?
Just being the greatest bot of all time.
Of course.
No, I mean, I would hope it could take, you know, just my human experience.
Yeah.
You know, everything's in my songs. You know, I've written songs about, you know, the joy of touring with my best friends around the world. I've written songs about losing loved ones. I've written songs about, you know, my upbringing. My whole life is in my music, you know, so if it could study that and kind of come up with a formula for my human experience, then maybe it'd be easier to kind of evoke those emotions out of it that we said we couldn't earlier.
Yeah. And Ali, what do you imagine a world that, you know, the boss bots of the world will be around and that you can use them? Like your role right now is in the background, but it's a really important role. Yeah. But if the bots are out there, you could be the bot orchestrator.
Right.
Because you have a
I could be the bot shepherd, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I look at it like, you know, when I'm working on like records with Boz or any of the artists that, you know, that are clients of mine, there's times in studios to where, you know, maybe a vocal was distorted, right? Or maybe there needs to be a clean version for radio, right? And the artist might be on tour halfway across the country, right?
Clean versions.
And that's when we plug in the Boz bot, we retype in the clean version of a curse word.
I love that.
You know, and you know, but it's things like that, right? Just being able to, you know, again, efficiency, man. If you know, you sat in the studio with me, that was a fraction of the time that it takes to create a record. And after the creation is done, there's still hours and hours and hours that are needed to finalize that project per se. and just having access to any type of tool that's mimicking an artist's voice, artist inflection, or an artist's sonic persona, I think will be utilized to again add more efficiencies to what I'm doing. Like I said, we're doing these clean versions, or doing maybe redoing the verse if something was inaudible or whatever the case might have been.
Yeah, yeah. So we see efficiency, we see creativity, we see transformation. Just paint a picture for me a decade from now. It's hard to think ahead a decade. But you guys are going to be in the music business for the next decade.
Right.
Right? So it's 2024.
I mean, to give you an analogy, I grew up in New York, and I still remember using payphones.
Yes.
And I remember that I'd have almost 20 numbers memorized in my head. And since I got a cell phone, I couldn't tell you anybody's number anymore.
Yeah.
It's things like an extension of my brain, but it's cool because I don't want to process 20 numbers. You can do that for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know in what capacity that's going to be in 10 years for music, because all the tools aren't here yet.
Yeah.
All the software developers, they're all adding their own AI into the software, and we'll see in the next few years, how that's rolled out. But I imagine it'll be the same, where there's some part of what we have to expend our brain processing, we can kind of offload it.
Yeah.
I think
cognitive offload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I believe, as fast as technology evolves, right, I believe there's going to be something else out there that's going to be created, right, to rival AI or to advance AI when it comes to music creation.
Yeah.
Man, all we could do is just play day by day, continue to
Well, quantum beats is quantum computing coming.
Right.
So, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're already living in the future.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, it's going to take those thought leaders to, just really get involved and, and be a leader on that front.
Okay. So we're almost at time. I just want to see if there's we haven't done any participation from the audience. I'm wondering if there's any questions you have of these incredible artists about the creative process, or questions you have. I mean, we're all trying to be creative in our own work, but these guys are creative for a living. And I see some hands. Yes, sir?
ChatGPT. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I mean, again, she knows what her audience wants to hear. It's the human experience. However she came up, there's clearly millions and millions of people that, walk those same steps in life. They felt that heartbreak that she sings about, and that comes back to what we were saying. It's kind of lacking now is, the bot isn't necessarily able to convey those same emotions. Even every song we've heard, is mostly kind of on the nose with everything. So, yeah, Taylor's got a golden pen.
Yes, back there.
Hi, I'm wondering what lessons you've imparted to fellow artists and engineers as you've experimented with AI, and also as you've heard people do that, because as you know, it can range from someone throwing Afro beats and singing to a SpongeBob SquarePants theme to potential debates and concerns about AI being used to clone someone's voice without their estate's consent. So I'm wondering what advice are you giving others in the industry, the do's and don'ts so far, and how that's evolving?
I mean, for me, I'm just like, bro, it's not Skynet, Terminator's not about to come get you. You know what I mean? Anytime the music industry's tried to shun technology, as with, iTunes and the MP3.
Napster.
Yeah, right? All the record labels were like, no, we're good, we're gonna keep selling CDs. And they almost all went bankrupt, So it's like, if you don't stay in tune with tech as musicians, you're just gonna get left behind. It's not like you're gonna stop the tech because you're boycotting it because of, some irrational, and maybe some rational fear, but I'm like, I just don't see it that way. I see it as a tool. I try to just reinforce that to my collaborators. Because you're right, there are a lot of people in our industry, a lot of creatives where AI is almost a dirty word right now, because they're just threatened by what it could mean, to their livelihood and to the art forms. But I think behind everything is taste. At the end of the day, there's gonna be a certain level of human taste that's still required to prompt the AI to create something that we'll all enjoy.
Yeah, I echo that. Yeah, well said.
Great. Up here.
What would be the motivation for young children to
I mean, what if AI is the instrument, right? I think it's just another form of expression. I think the youth will be utilizing it in ways to get their ideas out, right? Get their pain out, get their frustrations out, right? Instead of now just playing a guitar, they're just add keystrokes, So like anything creative, I think using it as a way of expression, I think, will prompt the next generation of what that creative is. I think there's one back here, Karim.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm worried about that as well, because what you realize with every generation is they're conditioned to consume music a certain way. Like, we went to the record stores and we bought the CD the first day and we flipped through the booklet and we're like, man, who produced this and who wrote this, and nerded out over that. And now it's like they might get 20 seconds of the song on TikTok and not even go listen to the full song, So that is a problem. I don't really know the answer, because every generation gets conditioned to consume music differently.
I mean, Ali, you had some incredible mentors and teachers.
Yeah.
And you couldn't ever replace that, right, in your development. Maybe talk about your mentors and the role they had, and then how will this change when you can just prompt your way through to getting the feeling that Ali has now?
I mean, that's, the mentor, speaking of, I was mentored by Dr. Dre, as an audio engineer. He has years and years of hands-on experience that, he handed down to me while I was, along my journey working with Kendrick Lamar. It's tough, right, to answer that question, similar to what Boz was saying, because, the processes that I learned came from somebody's 30 years of experience, right? If somebody's just typing in a prompt, right, where is the experience coming from?
Yeah.
So it's a hard question to ask.
But on the other hand, we could potentially have a Dre bot that could teach any kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, you happen to be in LA, in those neighborhoods, around those studios, that you were able to get that mentorship.
That is true.
But now we could have some kid in Mogadishu or Mumbai actually have access to the Dre bot that could potentially, and that's, I think, the very interesting debate we have, which is, are we going to be able to democratize faculty at Harvard Business School to millions of people, right? At the moment, we get 1,000 MBAs coming per year. But could we now make ourselves available to millions of people around the world this way and impart what we know? But on the other hand, there's something special about being here in person and getting the one-on-one conversations going. And do you give one up, or do you maintain both? And how do we maintain that?
Yeah, almost tough. I mean, again, thinking into the future, I could see a Dre bot, as you mentioned, being a thing. If it's in fact a way for people to watch the process from start to finish, or learn the process from start to finish, But yeah, again, it's just.
To add to that, there's probably 5 to 7 producers I've worked with, and I've had a session with them, and maybe I'll deliver something one way, and they'll be like, nah, cut it again this way, and we'll end up doing, 30 vocal takes until. And I like working with producers that challenge me, because I feel like when I leave those sessions, I have a new superpower. Like, okay, now I might be in the next session and he's not there, but I'm like, oh, the way he forced me to deliver that verse, I can recall that, or even going out and opening up shows early in my career, and I'm watching the headliners, and I'm like, oh man, this is the part of the song that's what we call sticky, right? Like the crowd loves it, it's the sticky part of the song, and you're watching, and you're like, okay, these are the moments I need to write into my songs, So I feel like it's hard, because you're right, like the mentorship is ongoing. Every artist you collaborate with has a different process, and you could take something from their process and make it part of your own. I don't know how that's gonna work with AI, but I can imagine, if you just had enough data, enough information, you could get there.
I mean, already we could potentially have a boss bot and a lead bot just by looking at the music you guys have created, and then just train the models just on that.
Yeah.
right, already, without doing any other special
probably
function.
get a cease and desist from Universal Records.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
But maybe it's fair use. You know, it's like transformative transformation.
I'll co-sign it.
Okay, all right. You're on. And so what's interesting is going to be this thing that is actually, you know, relatively easy for us to do that. You saw the archives thing that we did. The same ability to extract abstract perspectives on the way Ali constructs the cymbal sound. Right? There's probably a style that Ali has that he himself doesn't know that we can now get across. But the thing that I'm confused about, and I don't know what the answer is, like how, if you can get all the answers, then how am I learning? And how do we all went through friction, right? Through learning. But if it's now friction free, if it's just a few keystrokes, how do we learn? I think that's the worry we have about creativity. You know, creativity comes from the friction, from the pain you have felt with your girlfriends. And so now that
I mean, I think to go back to like the phone number analogy, it's like maybe they're just not gonna need to learn, you know, because it's gonna have learned for them. AI.
Yeah.
I mean, the output could still be the same. The music can touch a wide audience, and if they felt that same heartbreak, or you know, if they had that bottle night at the club, you know what I mean? They're gonna relate. So
yeah, I wouldn't have a clue about that.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight? We're gonna take you out. You've been working too hard.
Yeah. Okay, so let's come to a conclusion. Two questions. Overall, first of all, are you optimist or pessimist about the future with AI for music?
I'm very optimistic. Yeah. I think it's just gonna allow all of us to be, you know, experts at a bunch of things. I went on tour. I had been boxing because my lower back was acting up. I'm like, I gotta get in shape before tour. And then I was like, man, I'm not gonna be around my boxing gym. And I went on ChatGPT and I was like, yo, I've been boxing and my lower body feels better than ever. How can I keep working these same muscles in the hotel room? And it was like, all right, boom, you're gonna do X, Y, Z. You're gonna do this many reps of this. You're gonna, okay, when you're boxing, you're working your hips, it's giving me the whole thing. And I'm like, man, you're like a trainer.
Yeah.
Paying my trainer, I don't know how much. And ChatGPT's right there, you know, giving me all the info. So, you know, even like nutrition, I'll be like, man, give me like a meal plan for the week.
Yeah.
You know, give me some whatever. I'm trying to lose weight. Give me a meal plan. I'm trying to get healthier.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right, boom, eat this for breakfast. Eat this. I'm like, wow. Like now you're like my girlfriend too. You know what I mean?
So you're optimistic. How are you?
Very optimistic. Anything that saves me time. You know, as we all know, you know, there's only 24 hours in a day, and the amount of time that I spend in the studio, as much time as I spend in the studio to become who I am, right, away from my family, away from my kids. You know, I would do anything to get that time. You know, so optimistic for the simple fact that it's going to allow me to do more, make more money, right, with less time.
Great, great. And then, what advice would you give now to the younger boss and younger Ali that are sort of coming up the?
I would strictly just say, just dive into it, right? You know, I'm always in search for the new. I'm always, you know, intrigued by things that I don't understand, right? Just because, you know, the ADD in me, right, won't let me not look at it. But I would simply just say, just dive into it, right? Find a new process, find a new way to create, you know, find a way to adopt it and, you know, start working on your Ali bot.
Yes.
I would just say, yeah, embrace all the tools at your disposal.
Yeah.
You know, become an expert at it, stay on the cutting edge, and, you know, just create something new.
Yeah.
The output invariably is going to be something new because, you know, there's new tools at your disposal. So I would say just don't get stuck in an old mindset just because it's, you know, maybe the cool thing to be or to talk about. Like, nah, use all these tools while you have them. Yeah.
Definitely just use the tools to invent the future.
Invent the future, yeah. So I'm so grateful for the time we spent together in LA and for you guys coming out here, spending time with us. So please, let's thank Ali.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to thank, definitely want to thank you. You know, thank you for letting us come out.
Yeah, absolutely.